Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome. Once upon a time, I was between jobs. And this is the story about a simple question. I'm now fully employed, so I'm quite happy. But the question was, can an AI assistant help me develop a Windows and macOS app quickly? Just taking the guidance from the AI. So this is the journey of AI assistance coding from the first draft in Swift to the final app in Rust in 32 hours. So part one is vibe coding, AI assistance coding, experiment coding, what do you want to call it? This was 8 hours over a number of days. So it was 32 hours in total, because I carried on after those 8 hours. It was 23 days. 18 days worked, had 5 days off, rest. Minimum was a 2-hour day. On average was, sorry, not minimum. Mean was 2 hours. Average was 1 hour and 22 minutes. And I had a long day of 6. But let's get into it. There you go. That's it broken down day by day. And as you see, I got towards the end, I got more excited, more focused. So the blue's code that changes over time quite a lot, and the red is basically new code. So I start off by brainstorming, using Copilot Assistant, having a chat with it, seeing what it could give me, which is quite interesting. And I came back with a result looking at different things, trying to make an AI maturity assessment tool. So I asked Copilot, write me some software requirements. It did a pretty good job writing some requirements. It worked out there should be 6 pillars of different areas based on other assessment tools for AI. And then I took it to Google AI Studio to see if it could code it, because I'd read a bit about this product and want to have a play with it. So I fed it in, and the first thing I got was a start page. That's not too exciting. And then we're able to get, this is pretty much straight out of the AI machine, saying that here you go, you got 2 types of pillars and yes, no toggle switch for a given question when you do the assessment. So I said expand it, so we've got all the data, all the 6 pillars we talked about previously. And it added all the data in, and you can say yes, no to all those as well. And there was an open and save as button, but they did nothing. The next stage was I wanted to look at these as a percentage, or 0 out of 100. And as you click them, your percentage goes up. So normally 10 questions, so it goes up by 10. I then said, we need question descriptions, and let's get that open and save button working. So now for each question, you could have a bit of description behind it. We can now open a file, as you can see, it loaded all the data. Next, I thought the logo and styling needed a little bit of a touch, so I got a logo created. That was pretty cool. And the styling was slightly changed, more bluish. No! So when you clicked no, as you do here, this was the first thing that came out of the box when I said outcomes, and that's what it looked like. Sort of feels like 1990s look and feel. But that was the first thing that the AI created, which was pretty cool. Not very eye-pleasing. So then I thought, well, I could go in there, but I was really annoyed with not maximizing and closing the app very well. So I got rid of the header bar, added that in, which I thought was perfect. Splash screen was missing because there was a bit of delay, so I've got a splash screen now. Way, that was pretty easy. Got that first time. Radio buttons. Now, one thing I didn't understand with the AI is why I had a toggle. So we changed that to be, I say we, the AI changed it. I asked it to change it to a yes/no toggle button. Not a toggle button, but a radio button. And then when you click it, I wanted to change the color for each of the pillars because I felt the colors would make it a bit more jazzy and a light blue in the background. And then I want to see, could I turn it on and off, more out of curiosity than anything. So this is the first draft added, did it straight away. Toggled on and off those colors without me having to do much down the rabbit hole and fix the code. Actionable outcomes. So one of the key things about doing assessment is if you go no, Can you do that outcome? Well, that doesn't apply to us, so NA. So you can turn that off. I thought we had enough data to actually come up with a summary screen. So I create a summary screen to show me, well, this is all it gave me. A summary scheme like that, which felt not quite answering the question I asked the AI assistant. And there was a report button added. I've got no idea why the report button was added. So I expanded on the report. Click report. Oh, there we go. Part of the summary is a report. So a bit of confusion what a report is and isn't. But it allowed me to do all the sections. Because I said, if you're going to give a summary, give me sections I want. So there's confusion between a summary and a report. So the next bit, I thought, oh, we haven't actually got an introduction to explain what the product does and how to use it. So that was added and the summary was moved down. It did that pretty well as an AI assistant, giving me the why, what, when, who, and what had to be fixed a bit. Style introduction. The introduction I decided needed to be a bit more jazzy, a bit more bluer, a bit of animation. And now we got to the point of let's actually create a report, not a summary, but a report. So click generate, and there you go. A beautiful report. You get it print out or save as a PDF. This is an AI assistant within my first 8 hours. So going back to the summary, we can now open some data. It's opened successfully. Click OK. Boom. Color coding there, I think looks brilliant. And the summary now shows you the percentage of that assessment overall using a radar chart. I really wanted to have the participants' information in the system because who's doing it. So you could enter in who the company name is, you could enter in who the department is, leadership team in this case, enter in your own name and what your role is. I like being a tester, so I'll do that for this example, and a tick box to make you a facilitator. And to delete it. Look at this beautiful idea. I said make sure they delete it. It's not a straight delete. They have that feature in. And when you open it up, you can see they are all the data of the people that were saved from before. And in blue is the consultant. So that can be used in the report. So a little bit of styling and the participants on the report. So here we go. Generate report. That's slightly styled different. Generate. And there you can see the people that were part of the assessment. I was quite happy with that. So after 8 hours, the AI had been doing its job. That was over 14 days. I thought, do I stop or proceed? One of the problems I had was it takes 24 minutes to actually build the thing. And when I changed this other option, it only took 48 seconds after the first build. So part 2 is me switching to Rust and Tuero, pronounced that wrong, and some test tools around it. And there was another 24 hours to make up 32. So here we go. This is what I experienced. There was no splash screen. Oh no, it just flashed. Then I loaded a white page. This is where I thought the migration from one language to another broken, but hey, it appeared and there was that small delay. The animation still worked. The AI conversion of the one language to another just worked out of the box, kind of. Right, can I load a file? Oh, I'm excited. The data loads and it shows, still got color coding, still got the right results I expected. The yes, no works. The not applicable works. I was getting really excited. A summary even works. Oh, wow, that's really good. Let's generate the report. Generate. Or maybe I clicked the wrong button. No, it does not generate a report. And I'll close it and I'll start. Oh, and the close button doesn't work. So this is the interesting thing with AI. It's sort of not always right. So I went away, did a bit of talking back and forth with the AI, and we eventually got the splash screen reworking, which is very good. And it closes. So I fixed that. So now I sort of thought, well, if I'm going to keep the code, I might want some tests. So I started writing some unit tests. I think this is running in real time. So jig, 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 jig. Seemed to run very slow for the first time. There's only 2 tests to this. And there we go, I passed. Oh, that's exciting. So the cool part with having it running in the background is when you change the document, it will update the test. Here we go. I've written a whole stack more tests. Run the test, and what's going to happen? It all failed. So at this point, I'll give a little explanation of what's going on. So we opened up the test. Oh, I think I know what that is. Let's see what the AI thinks it is, because it's normally pretty smart. So this is how I share at work. I use GitHub Copilot. I don't want to pay for it at home. So I have this little script which takes the whole repository and dumps it into a text file. I then can load that text file. Just a text file with all my code that I want to share with the AI and leave out the things I don't want to share. Drop it into here, copy the error message or instruction to change the code I want, paste it into there, and then go run. So this is 16 times faster, so it's thinking away. It's interesting sometimes to see what it's thinking. And then at the end of that thinking period, it comes back and says, haha, this is what you need to do to fix it. And unfortunately, I know that's wrong. So being a software developer, more background software development, you understand that cost me 27 cents if I'd done it by the API. No, not 27 cents. Yeah, 27 cents. But done it by the API. So I will confess, it feels like it makes mistakes 10% of the time, which is pretty high and hopefully gets better. So the problem was it was missing the package. Install the package, rerun the tests, and they pass. Simple as that. Otherwise, you've gone down a rabbit hole trying to fix something that was not actually broken. Then I thought, let's try some end-to-end tests. WebDriver IO. That sounds like fun. I just love the creativity of developers with ASCII art. Anyway, let's see. Oh, we'll put it headed. So this is me not touching the screen. So it ran before and it would pass, but you didn't see anything. So get rid of that command in the config file. Run it. Here we go. This is me not touching it. It's been automated, so it's checking that the buttons click yes and no. And this is checking you can add a person, you can delete a person. So that's my automation from the GUI. Proof of concept, you can automate it, which gets me excited. That's what we do in real products. Report with application. So it was weird that the report was in a separate window, so I put it into the application and changed the color to be more blue and a little bit of styling differences. So that felt more like a single app rather than having a window pop up. Made me feel good. The AI did that pretty good as a conversion. I also hate having content data you can't see, so I made a cheat sheet, printed it all out so someone else can review the content within the actual application that it uses. So this was interesting. This is me running a whole stack of tests at one point. It's failed in the whole lot. And this is an information on over time where I spent my work. So big bubbles, a lot of code changes. And the higher up it is, the more less disciplined you are. And if it's yellow, that means it's mainly test-related files. If it's purple, dark purple, as the sun, it's got no test related to it. So generally all the way up to about the 18th there were no tests, which is the first 8 hours. And there are a lot more tests, a lot more smaller check-ins, because I was trying to ensure it was good. And it was easy with the AI to actually do a small amount of work. Oh, might have gone a bit further. So if we carry on, this is part 2.5, because I did some user testing feedback, which is a good thing to do. Notes and comments was something they said was missing, and action plan. So they wanted an AI strategy document to come out of your assessment. So comments and recommendations. So now you can add that in at any point. You then get that onto your report. So straight in the document. Now, that renders a lot faster than the other way I had it set up before. That was one of them done. Action plan. So there's a concept of, is it a task or a document need to be created? And then you can say, yes, I want that part of that. And you can look at those. At the stage, you can't put your own one in. You just say, well, I need to add that in as a document to as an actionable outcome of doing the assessment. So part 3 is the final build, because there's a whole stack of iterations I went through. This is over the last 32 hours where I got to finally to have an AI assistant helping me to create a tool. So first of all, splash screen pops up, no animation, that was the sole wasn't needed. We can easily open up a document with all the previous stored data. It loads, we can see who the people are, we can add people in. So name is Smith, so he's CX, add that person in. And as you can see, the save button top right has now gone red to imply it should be saved. If you scroll down, you can see all the answers. You can see here that you can put a comment. Let's do a document we need, because we know we need that. And there's an action of getting some user training around AI stuff. Also, we've got this idea that you can lock certain areas unless the other one passes with a yes, but you may want to override it, and that was actually used when I used it with a client of mine. So we enter in the data of good to do this next. Must bring up the more professional wording, but that will do. We identify that, we tick those, and now we've got the report, which just takes it straight from the data that's there, shows it all out. Information is quite nice, very readable. Artificial intelligence summary. This is where I went a bit crazy and decided to do some fun stuff. First of all, I'll show you can turn off parts of the document, so this turns it off for both reports. So the people's names are no longer on the report because the site's not to. So this is, you can choose one, what you're trying to achieve, and you can have multiple levers to do it. You can actually enter your own method you're going to try and do. The customer enjoys the product. So we're done with that. That's our AI vision statement. Auto-generate the summary based on what the assessment was. It looks at all the pillars and then says the information that's taken from the assessment and dropped in there in a nice format. And this pre-pops with the template AI content around what we think should be good. We then can export it to a document rather than a PDF, so the client can then alter it. Why stop the client changing anything in the document if they decide later that they want to delete something? So that's very nice. That's the maturity assessment done, and that's the artificial intelligence strategy. Nice simple document, which they can add and remove as they want to, or keep it. And the X button closes the application. Isn't that great? So learnings, research and define your technology stack. Don't let AI just choose it randomly for you. That was a big learning. 8 hours later, I had to change it. It's very good at explaining things. So how do I set up? However, know what versions you're on, because you've got different versions. The AI assistant can sometimes get confused on how to do stuff. It seems to get 10% wrong, and you go down rabbit holes. So use commits, be very wary. Background in software engineering coding is a major benefit to know when it's doing silly stuff. Adding tests help find AI mistakes early, not 5 commits later. So I changed something and then 5 commits later, I realized it was way back. It's pretty annoying. Coding is best done as a conversation. So the initial conversation around requirements, or show me how to create the next stage of this here. Give me the stages. So that's it.